Hey everybody, welcome to another video on the 67 Mustang. So as you may remember in the last video we had about the car, I've done a pretty good job of getting the passenger side floor pan cut out, ready for the new one. So what I'm hoping to do today is getting the new floor pan fitted in there, figure out what I've got to cut. To make it fit with what we have in the car. It's got a lot more metal on it than I think we need. Then I'm going to try to work on getting that floor support kind of straightened back out, whatnot on it as well. So that's kind of the goal I hope to accomplish. I know it doesn't sound like a lot. Not going to get to welding today for a couple of reasons. Primarily, I don't know how to weld yet. So I'm hoping that by cutting down that floor pan that I've got to put in here, that I can use some of that metal as a test, right? To kind of see how things work, what I need to set on my welder as far as the wire speed and power on it. So I'm going to try a couple of different things with that. I hope to try to get that dialed in a little bit before I just start going in the car. That also ties into the other reason I don't want to weld in the car right now is, in the last video you saw I've got some spots up there on the toe board. And yes, I have a whole new toe board piece here that I can put in if I want to or need to. But I would prefer not to have to cut it out. No, the more original metal I keep on the car, the happier I'm going to be anyway. So my thought is if I can get comfortable with welding, then I can then just kind of grind those spots out, get rid of the real thin metal, and then fill it with weld, right? And give that an attempt as well, so I don't have to cut out so much metal. So that's kind of the plan for today. So we're going to go ahead and get things started here in just a moment. I'm going to take the floor pan into the car, try to see how it fits, figure out where I need to make my cuts at. I wish I should have thought of this. Anyway, I didn't. I should have gotten some different colored Sharpie markers so I could mark on there. I can just use some tape though, that would work too, or scribe it because it's the black metal, so I should be able to scribe marks on this and see that. So anyway, we'll see how it works. We're gonna get in there and give this a shot. So let's get moving. Okay, so I've laid the new floor pan in here. It actually doesn't fit too bad, from what I can tell. You can see that the grooves on the toe board are lining up really well. There's a line right here on the transmission tunnel, which I hope you can see and I'm not blocking. It lines up here pretty well. So overall the fit seems to be pretty darn good. I'm definitely going to have to remove some more of the factory seam sealer, which I was planning to do anyway. The hole here kind of lines up pretty decently with the hole down there on the floor support. So what I'm trying to figure out now, obviously, is what do I need to cut off? I think I can cut off a good bit of this right here because like I said, this is solid up here. So I don't need all of this. So I'm thinking I can come from a line here across and cut that off. Also don't need nearly as much of this metal coming up on the transmission tunnel. I can probably cut somewhere down over here to cut that off. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull this out. Pull off my tape over there, and I'm going to kind of make some tape marks. Now ultimately I could go underneath the car and kind of trace the lines on this, but in my garage, the way it's set up, I can't easily get under the passenger side of the car the way the car's facing, and I can't easily flip the car around because I'm by myself. Even though I do have those wheel casters, the casters that go up under the wheels, but then I also have a tire that's blown out on the front side that I haven't replaced. So that makes it hard. And even though the car does run, so I guess theoretically I could put a seat back in and try to back it out that way if I had to work. Anyway, you get the idea. So I'm just make some tape marks showing where I think things need to be, but I'm very impressed with how well this is fitting so far. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and clean that tape out and then put some more tape down. So let me do that, and that'll give me a better idea out here where I need things to be to line up to cut. Yeah, that fits pretty good. Okay. Let's pull that out. See if I can do this without dinging up things and knocking the cameras over. So that kind of tells me where that, right? So I know that I've got this edge here. Need to line and then give me, I've decided I'm probably going to butt weld these as much as possible, or not butt weld, lap weld these, because this was lap welded with spot welds up there. Obviously this edge was spot welded too. This was all spot welded in. This back here, seat riser was spot welded, and I may try to butt weld instead of lap weld here, depending on what I do with this. So this is kind of my thoughts here. Anyway, so that's what I'm thinking. I know I still have some cleaning and grinding to do to get everything fit perfect, as close to perfect. I'm not going for show quality perfection. I'm going for, will it work, keep the car in good shape, and make it a safe, regular driver. That's what I'm going for, weekend driver. So I know there's probably a lot of folks that are not going to be happy with the way I do this, but I'm trying to operate within my limited skill set. So let's go ahead and now refit this in and see if I can't mark up what I need to do to cut. And then, yeah, I need to come back in and straighten. These are way bent. I also am going to have to weld where I got a little crazy with the cutters in to fix some of that as well. Okay, now we'll get the floor pan back. Okay. That's lining up there, that's lining up there. Looks like this back edge, there's nothing to cut, and that's pretty good for a butt weld. Gotta get these lap welds. I'm looking at cutting off here. It's gonna be something like that. So, don't worry about all that. It fits. God, I'm really impressed. So I got these parts from CJ Pony Parts, and I'm impressed with the way this fits. I've heard a lot of horror stories about fitting it on some of these types of aftermarket panels, but this one seems to be doing great. So now I'm looking at about that back because that's just dead on. Okay, so it looks like this has to come out here, and that has to come out. Now, what I'm thinking, because this represents the outer edge, and I need that fitment to lap weld it, so I'll probably come up here, but it gives me an idea where I need to be. Same here with this line. I know I need to be somewhere in this neck of the woods. There. Okay, but we're getting there. So I guess next I'm going to verify this. I got to figure out how I'm going to cut it. What am I going to use to cut it on? Because I don't have a good table to do this on. We'll see. One thing at a time. So I'm going to pull this out. Check the measurements on how far I need to come off that tape edge approximately, and I'm going to give myself a safety net. I'm not going to cut exactly because you can always take metal away. It's much harder to add it back. Okay, so what I've done now is I've gone in and I've tried to check measurements. I'm going to come back here and double check them on this piece before I start cutting. The old adage, you know, measure twice, cut once. Is that right? Measure twice? Yeah, I think that's right. So I'm going to check this out. So you've got basically 19 inches across there. You've got 17 inches this way. Check, and I've taken a couple other measurements to check. Now, like I said, when I cut this, I'm not going to cut directly on all these exact measurements because I want to give me some wiggle room. So if I cut a little more, you know, grind down a little, whatever, I've got some wiggle room to do that. So let's check some measurements. So first, try to come across here. And know that I have 19 here, which means I need to move this over. Okay, so now we're back there. So this edge needs to be about right there. So that side was a little off. There's this edge up here. And I'll true this up with a T-square or whatever to get a good straight line. Although my cut line is not very straight anyway. So that edge up here looks pretty good. What we need to do is try that edge up there, so I'll pull this off. I know I've got that messed up. Come back here. Loose. I hope y'all can see this. This is the sad thing. I can't see what y'all are seeing. See if I've smoothed this out too horribly. 19 is right there. Take this. This. It looks a little off to me, but I think that's because we got this bump here, which is where the brace from the transmission tunnel comes in and ties in to the floor support right here. Now this is the edge. Since I'm going to lap weld this, I'm going to try to come over probably an inch and a half this way to make my actual cut. Okay. I think we got that down. Flip this kind of around this way. And we find 17 coming from there to here. And this piece is off a bit. And 17 being somewhere. There, on this side. There. Okay, so in essence, we'll cut here and somewhere here to get that off. Is what I'm thinking. So I'm going to take a couple double check measurements here just to see where we're at on things, but I think that's pretty darn close. Okay, so I've gone ahead in here and added another strip of tape. These are 1-inch wide tape strips. So that should give me 2 inches on either side to play with, which should hopefully be enough. If not, well, I guess I'll be ordering a new part. So now I got to figure out where I'm going to cut this stuff out. And how I'm going to cut it. Okay, so I've got this laid out. Go ahead and make this cut here first, and then we'll come back and do this cut here after I flip the metal around. So I'm going to use my angle grinder, see how this works. Try to take it slow and easy. Putting on my gloves here. Pull it out from under me as much as I can. Okay, one cut down, another cut to go. So take that out. Enough to do that one. Things I want to do is come in here with this one. What? Okay, now I cut this angle here like that to help it feed more into where that edge is on the side. Goes up. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. We'll find out. Now I'm going to try to clean this up here a little bit. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I think, is go ahead and put this in back in the car and test fit it, and hopefully I did okay. Let's see how that goes. So let's go ahead and move it over to the car. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try to test fit this. Let's see what we got. Okay, I think that is fitting in there pretty darn good. Do a little knocking over here, bring this down a little bit. Hit that with a hammer in there. Get that lining up pretty good with that up there. This back edge here is lining up good. I am very happy with this. That's got to come down a little bit, but we can fix that. Let's do a little knocking down here to get that in there. But overall, that fits pretty damn good from what I can tell. I'm happy. I'm happy. Okay, so what next? What should we do next? Okay, so I guess the next part is to try and clean up some more and get the floor support knocked up a little bit, and then figure out where I'm going to put my spot welds. I got to do the underneath. I got to spot weld this also to those supports, right? So I got to figure out where to drill holes on this piece that will line up here with these rails here and here. Although that, I don't think that had many spot welds on that. And of course I got to fix that piece right there. But so that's what I'm going to do next. And start hammering on this and get this flattened out a little more. And all that. Okay. Sounds good. So this piece back over here. Okay guys, I had actually bought myself a set of a couple of, I guess 3 body hammers to work with because I figured I'd need them. So I'm going to play with these. I don't know which ones are best to use, but my idea is I'm going to use this dolly here and hammer with one of these flat hammers on it. And I'm sure I'm going to get in the way because, like I said, I'm a one-person shop, so trying to Okay folks, I'm going to keep working on this. No point letting y'all sit here and suffer through it all. Hey everybody, so I've got this thing cleared up, cut out pretty well now. I've got it fitted. Went ahead and cleaned off all of the seam sealer that was up there, as well as the seam sealer that was here along the seat riser. So it looked kind of interesting. I was looking at some of see if I can get this flipped around. These spot welds here, and some of them look kind of funky. They look indented, almost like they're pop rivets. And I don't know if you can see that. I don't have a light in here, but anyway, we'll see. Not sure what that to make of that, but got that all cleaned up. Also got some rust converter put down into both of the cross member there, as well as the floor support there. Had some surface rust. Of course, I cleaned it all up too with a wire wheel and all that kind of good stuff there. So I think with that, well, as I think I started to say a second ago, depending on how I splice all this together, that's going to be it for this video. We got the passenger side floorboard, the panel cut and ready to go in. We've got the floor support straightened back out. Still has a dent in kind of the bottom where I jacked, but I got it beaten back down so it's much better than it was. So we got that taken care of. I got rust converter put down into that floor support and the cross brace to get that after I cleaned it, obviously. And I got a bunch of that seam sealer out there. And then, as you saw, I'm still quite not sure what to make of those spot welds, pop rivets. I can't really tell. The other side I got to look and doesn't look like they're pop rivets, but kind of a weird shape. I don't know. In there, but anyway, so you got to see that. So with that, we're getting pretty close to me welding this in, which I have to say is kind of scary, honestly. Having never done this before, I don't want to really monkey something up and make a mess out of it, so I will try to do some practicing with the metal I cut off to see what my settings should be, what I can do there, some spot welds, things like that, so I'll be drilling some holes and whatnot there. So anyway, with that, remember, subscribe to the channel if you like our content. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, either way. Any response is good. If you like what you saw, didn't like what you see, leave comments, suggestions. If you've watched other videos, you know this is not my day job. My day job is working on computers doing GIS, which, by the way, if you're involved in that, my new book on ArcGIS Pro went to print last week. So yay for that. Now they're trying to get me to write another book. I don't have time. Anyway, so anyway, I digress. I'm going off on tangents. I do this. I'm tired. It's hot. Anyway, so that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.